And more Americans than ever have been calling us looking to get a second citizenship because for the first time they feel locked out. Over the years, people from the US, from Canada, from elsewhere have told me, hey, my passport can let me go pretty much anywhere, but that hasn't been the case. So what I'm going to share with you right now are 4 primary regions: the Caribbean, mainland Latin America, Eastern Europe, and Afrasia. 4 different areas where you can go. We can start in the Caribbean, where you've got pretty much every citizenship by investment country that has reopened to US citizens. The Caribbean is, from my perspective, the largest region in terms of individual countries. There's so many small sovereign nations and territories that you can go to. This is one of the biggest places that has reopened. Now, St. Kitts and Nevis seems to have perhaps the most difficult protocol for tourists to get in, with lots of different testing and registration and what have you. Antigua, St. Lucia, Dominica, Grenada, all have reopened to Americans. And so if you look at St. Lucia, for example, a country I'm a proud citizen of, you do have nonstop flights to the US. Same with Antigua and Barbuda. Anguilla, the British territory, now open for Americans. Definitely, to some folks, a little bit higher end place to live. There is a tax residence program that is available there. If you are looking to be nomadic and you want to have a zero tax place to call home, you might want to go and look at Anguilla while you have the opportunity. The Bahamas, another place that offers residents, people who buy homes. If you want to spend $500,000 or $1 million in a home, you can become a resident of the Bahamas, obviously a zero tax jurisdiction. Great place for people who want to be in the Caribbean, again, in a little bit higher level jurisdiction than some of the Caribbean citizenship by investment countries. That is definitely an option that is appealing. And so if you're thinking of moving to the Bahamas or Anguilla or one of these places, take the opportunity while you're nearby, while there aren't as many other places to go. Check it out, see how you feel about it. The Dominican Republic has been one of the most open countries throughout this entire time. Now, the DR, why? I think the other countries speak to this to some extent. The DR is, we need tourist dollars. We need people coming. We need our people working. And so when people say to me, Andrew, what are you going to do when every country in the world follows the same playbook and it's the New World Order and they're all going to have you? I say, wait a second. I mean, look at what you saw in terms of resistance. I mean, you've seen resistance to things like CRS. You've seen plenty of holdouts in countries that aren't part of the new global minimum tax. You've seen, all kinds of countries that just don't want to be part of what everyone else is doing. And then you've seen even the countries that join some of those things just not enforce it very well, or they have exemptions, or there's exceptions, or there's loopholes, whatever the case may be. The idea that every country going forward is going to function the way the US or Australia or Canada or New Zealand does, to me is simply ridiculous. And it shows that if you're in that bubble, then that's the kind of news that you're hearing, but you're not seeing how the Dominican Republics of the world, they need to keep moving. So this year I spent a couple months in Mexico. We had our sold out conference, Nomad Capitalist Live, spent time in Mexico City, spent time in Merida, spent time along the beach, and everything was pretty much wide open. Colombia is now more open than it was when I was there. It does certainly feel a bit more closed, but the restrictions have all been lifted. Colombia is open, you can go there. The DR has positioned themselves as one of the most open countries, and Costa Rica has also done the same. You can get into most of Latin America, Chile, Argentina, and Uruguay being the exceptions. Uruguay, I think, does have a lot of things going for it, but they have been one of the more strict countries in this time. Chile, which is also very interesting and has been talked about for many years, I think is showing what I call this kind of visa waiver program, jump the shark behavior, where they've become such a successful, such a wealthy country, such a great passport, that now there's a certain kind of behavior that they have to engage in. So other places that have opened up, Ecuador, for example, very interesting place. And I was in Dubai for a couple of weeks recently, and while there certainly are relatively strict protocols in place, the place is open. Restaurants are open, businesses being conducted as usual. It seems like Dubai is perhaps a bit more open to tourism. That has been the theme throughout most of the last year. But there are rumors about things going to be opened up further and regulations being loosened. So Dubai in particular has been relatively open. South Korea is interesting in that they do have a little talked about temporary and permanent residence program for investors. It is a place that might not be that bad to have as a flag if you want a more developed Asian country as part of your portfolio. Thailand is a place where You have the Thai elite visa. You have the Thai investor visa, where you can invest in new property or put money in the bank or put money in bonds. You can get a renewable residence permit, essentially. And so there are a lot of lifestyle opportunities, a lot of immigration opportunities, and relatively good tax policies for people who are running businesses, people who are investing in crypto. Thailand is an interesting place to be, and probably a place that a lot of people wouldn't mind living if they're looking to live the nomad capitalist lifestyle. Turkey in December and also November. Took a couple different trips to Turkey, quick trips for research. You've got obviously a citizenship program, residence program, some of the cheapest real estate in Europe. The lira has recently come back up against the US dollar for the time being. So you've got interesting opportunities there. You've got lots of coast if you're looking for warm weather. I think opportunity to potentially spend time somewhere, interesting opportunity to potentially invest. And if you're looking for a citizenship and you haven't been to Turkey, now's the time. Armenia also pretty open. We have part of our team there, just had our COO come back from there. And again, hey, the country's open for business. They want your test. If you have the test, come on in, and life is as normal. Right now, with no COVID test, you can get into Albania, you can get into North Macedonia, and you can, depending on your nationality, get into Romania, even as part of the European Union. Not part of the Schengen area, but part of the European Union. This is not necessarily my list again. This is where people who are saying, listen, Andrew, I'm all for tax savings, that's great, but you know what? I want to feel a sense of freedom. I don't feel free in the United States anymore. People tell me, for 2, 5, 10 years even, I haven't felt free in the United States. Or, I felt Australia was going the wrong direction. And I've said, listen, I was in Australia 4.5 years ago, and I felt it to be less free than the United States. And the United States has a certain amount of personal freedom, but I just kind of felt like you're always looking out for the thing to happen next. And so for people who feel that way, for people who just want to be left alone, don't bother me, these are some of the countries that they're interested in. I do want to hear your comments on which one you like the best.